Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Got a couple people in here already. What's up, Jacob? How you doing? And Donovan, awesome intro footage. Thanks, guys. It's pretty sweet. Tell me if you were able to hear there was supposed to be some music playing on there too, but it didn't seem like it was coming through on my end. Yeah. Jacob, beautiful. That was actually a bunch of stuff that I shot up in Washington while I was filming the Bigfoot race, Bigfoot 200. So, yeah, glad you guys like that. Oh, man, awesome. There's a bunch of you guys already here. Yeah, I have just like a few notes of things that I wanted to kind of go through today, just hit on a few things, but we have a bunch of new shoes that Ultra just dropped. Triple Crown series is done. I wanted to kind of walk through that with you guys. If you have any questions, answer any questions you guys have about it all. Hopefully you guys have already seen it. But if you haven't, I'll try to put a link in the show notes. I might throw one in the comments as well. And then just kind of talk about what the last couple weeks and months have been like as far as running goes. I started posting a bunch more videos on my channel, so you guys have probably caught up, but it's been actually almost like a month and a half, maybe almost 2 months since I've done one of these live shows. So just getting back into the swing of things with that. And then, yeah, just kind of talk about like what I see the next, like the end of the summer and the fall looking like. Because yeah, it's, we'll just get into that. So I'm going to, throw it to the intro video and I'll see you guys back here in just a second. Oh no. So, I don't know if you guys heard that. So this Rodecaster Pro, it's got like, it's for like podcasting and live streaming and everything, and it's got a whole lot of really cool features. And you can load in like songs and do a whole bunch of other stuff. So my kids play on this too, and so that was like one of their sound effects. I don't know if you heard it. It was like this. It's supposed to be like a harp or something. Yeah. So, all right, we will be done with that. So anyway, yeah, we're live. So things happen. Already got a bunch of people talking. Okay, great. It sounds like there was music in the intro, so that's good. I don't know why, like I was trying to check it on my phone on that stream and it just wasn't coming through. So maybe my phone is connected to some sort of Bluetooth thing or something. So I don't know. Anyway. All right. Kyle says, just finished watching the Triple Crown series the other day. Amazing job. Thanks, man. It's really cool. It seems like a lot of people are really enjoying it, which is awesome. Like that was the point. It was, wanted to obviously go out and see all these amazing races and see these beautiful places, and but like, I guess afterwards, and the reason why I started putting like all the footage together and like just everything I was thinking about, like all the hours and everything that went into it, was just that I know people are going to watch this, and I hope that just a few people can be inspired by it. So yeah, that's awesome that people are liking it. Lewis says that intro was sick. Nice. Yeah, there was at the Bigfoot race, Bigfoot 200 up in Washington, I was able to do some drone footage, but the rest of the races, it was like there was so many spots that you couldn't, that it was actually like either A, illegal to fly a drone, or B, the race just did not let me drone. But yeah, dope beat. Thanks, man. Yeah. Got that song off Artlist. If you guys do YouTube or any of that sort of stuff, you probably know like Epidemic Sound, Artlist, that kind of stuff. But Artlist is really good. Donovan, Jacob, a bunch of people commenting they could hear the music. Awesome. Jacob enjoyed the series a lot. Sweet. Jacob, you and I need to go for a run sometime. I know you live pretty close, and that would be fun. Just started listening to Train for Ultra during my runs. Nice. Yeah, he's got a pretty good podcast. So, and what's up, Marcel? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know if you guys had seen some of my the last couple videos I did on the new Ultra shoes that came out. They've this year has been like really crazy for lots of reasons, obviously. But if you're a fan of shoes and cameras, this is definitely a good year for you. Speaking of like cameras real quick, I don't know if anybody saw the Sony a7S III live stream that just happened today. That camera looks incredible. I'm a big Sony fan. The whole Triple Crown series was filmed on Sony cameras and GoPro, but it was filmed with I have Sony a7 III, and then we had a backup a7 III. So the whole thing was filmed on that pretty much, and I have like an Atomos digital video recorder, so it could record ProRes. Just a little bit higher video codec, which is it was just a really nice combination, the Sony and the Atomos Ninja. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, the Sony a7S III looks absolutely incredible. And then as far as shoes go, this year Ultra, the Olympus 4 is a huge update. In my opinion, it's really takes that shoe to really like just a more modern, like sleek, like the sole, the outsole, the midsole, the cushioning is still everything that you would expect from an Ultra Olympus. But they really took the upper and they made it just, it's just like a sock now when it slips on, and it's like, they took a lot of the fake leather away. They took a lot of the like extra material that didn't need to be there. There was a lot of cushion in the tongue. There was a lot of the heel had a lot of extra kind of stuff cushion in it, a lot of extra foam around the back, and they just slimmed it down quite a bit. The laces are the right length now, and Ultra always does a really good job with what their laces are made out of. It's really like easy to, they're easy to tie, but then they're also really hard to become untied. And that's one thing, like a lot of like, if you guys ever do like triathlons or anything, like lock laces, like the kind of like laces that are like zip ties basically, because that's like a huge thing, is like if your shoes come untied, like you gotta stop and tie them. But Ultra's laces have always been really good, and just the way they're made and woven together, they just really stay tied really well. But that update I think, in my opinion, is a really, really big update, mainly to the upper. I think it's going to be a lot more comfortable, and it's going to be a lot cooler, not as hot. It'll dry faster. Yeah, because when you're out there on the trails, like 100 milers, 50 milers, even like whatever trails you're on, like if you, like your feet get wet, like you need them to dry soon, dry quick. So it's a big update. And then the Torin 4.5 plush is a really, really good update too. The plush, the last model that they had that came out, it was kind of like a first generation. There were some things about it that needed to be fixed in a update, and they fixed a lot of them. The fit, I've heard from some people that the fit is different enough that they didn't like it, but for me, the fit was much better on the upper, especially in the forefoot. Like it just, everything was just like a much better fit for me. And the Torin is on a performance last. So that's one thing about all shoes, like they're made, they're formed around a mold of a foot. And like, I don't know as much about other brands, but with Ultra, they have 4 or 5 different lasts, which is like different models of a foot. And so some of them are a little bit wider in certain places. Some of them are tighter. The Torin, the Superior, I'm forgetting a few, but like there's about 5 or 6 that are made on the performance last, which is just a little bit tighter in the heel and the midfoot, and then a little tiny bit wider, like in the toe area. And it's made for that, like if you like, they for racing is what they call it. But it just is a little bit tighter, like in the heel and the midfoot. The Olympus is actually made on their standard last, which is like their original foot mold, and it's a little bit wider in the heel, wider in the midfoot, and then a little bit tighter in the toes, like interestingly enough. So the Olympus fits differently than like a Superior or a Lone Peak. A Lone Peak is another one that's on the performance last. And then they have a Fit for Her last, and they've got like a what's it called? Like just a casual wear last. And then they've got one more that I can't remember the name of, but they all fit just a little bit differently. And so if you go from, like I said, like an Olympus to a Superior or something, that's why you might get a little bit different feeling, like in your toe box area or in the heel. Like it might not just lock in as well one version or another. And so you just got to find out which one is right for you and kind of look into that. But I believe they have that information on their website. But yeah, and then I also got the Escalante Racer, which I haven't worn yet, but I'm very excited to. I've been trying to get 50 miles real quick on these Torin Plush. I'm at 40 or something right now. About 40 miles in the Torin Plush this week, and then last week this week also put in about 20 miles in the Olympus. So once I hit like 50, somewhere around like 50 to 100 miles in each of those shoes, I'll do another little video kind of giving you some information on how they wear at 50 or 100 miles or something like that. And then I also have a video coming soon. I just need to finish the edit. The Viho, which is a shoe that does not get a whole lot of attention from Ultra, but I really, really like it a lot. Spoiler. It fits a lot like they had a shoe a couple years ago called the One, and that got discontinued, unfortunately, because it was my favorite road shoe. And that shoe saw so many different versions. Like it started out and it was just a very different shoe than it ended up as, and then it got discontinued. But the final couple versions, like I said, my favorite road shoe. And the Viho feels a lot like it. So yeah, I'll have that video coming out pretty soon. Let's see here. Couple questions. Luis Rodriguez says, any tips for transitioning to zero drop shoes? I want to try ultras, but I'm a little scared since a lot of people say to proceed with caution if you've never run in zero drop shoes. So yeah, that's like, that's a valid concern, because the thing about, zero drop or balance cushioning is what they're calling it now. It is different enough. On the place I noticed it the most was like my calf and my Achilles. But it just kind of depends on the style of runner you are. If you're strictly a trail runner and you run on really rocky, uneven surfaces, you can probably transition to balance cushion real quick. You probably won't notice it as much as if you run 100% of your miles on flat pavement. And if you're used to like a lower profile shoe that has like a 7 or 8 millimeter drop or something, like a Nike or something like that, you're going to feel it a lot more. So yeah, I would say tips for transitioning would be, just get a pair of shoes, a pair of ultras before your current shoes wear out, and then just introduce them every other run or every third run or something, and just do a couple miles at a time. Don't overdo it. Get it to the point where it's like you put it on and you're like, oh, this feels really normal. And if there's any soreness like in your calf or bottom of your foot or anything like that, that's gone. You're not feeling that anymore. But yeah, I would just say start slow. Like, don't just buy a pair and jump straight into it and start running like 50 miles a week in it or something, because that's an area where you could get some sort of injury or something. Eric the Red says, I did see the new Sony. You have the A7R3. Nice. That's a good camera. The R3 came out after I already had my A7 III. But I don't know as much about the R. I know it's really, really awesome for both photos and video, but it focuses a lot on photos because that high pixel count. And then Jacob jumping in. Yeah, start doing your easy runs in zero drop. Will help stretch out your calves and get you acclimated. Yeah, absolutely. What he said. Oh, man. Okay, so Andrew S. says, love the Triple Crown series, Ryan. Looking forward to some behind-the-scenes footage. Yes. Wanted to talk about that, too. Really excited to put out, I don't know how many it's going to be, but kind of like a vlog series of behind the scenes from the Triple Crown. I don't know if I'm going to like call it something special and make it a series, or if I'll just put them out as vlogs or something. Probably try and call it something and like, you know, make a nice title or something so that it kind of stands apart from just my daily stuff. Yeah, very excited to show you guys that. I started editing like what will be the first episode or the first vlog like yesterday or the day before, and I'm gonna try not to like overdo the production and all of that of these, because I want to get them out quick and I want you guys to see them. Like what I don't want to happen is for another like a month or two to go by and only have one or maybe none out. So I want to just put them out, and hopefully if it's not up to you guys' production standards, you'll forgive me. I just kind of want to put them out as like vlogs and just throw them out there and just show you guys kind of what it was like, because it was like it's probably not as exciting and definitely not glamorous at all. Like it was like, for all of these races, what I did was I flew out to wherever I was going, and then at the airport I picked up a Jeep and I put all my stuff in the Jeep, and I lived in that Jeep for like 4 or 5 days. So it was awesome. Like I loved it. Like it was an amazing adventure, each one. But it wasn't like, it wasn't like super, super exciting either, because a lot of times I would drive to an aid station and then I would sit there for like 5 or 6 hours waiting for Rob to come. And then, like a lot of the places we did have cell reception, but a lot of places we didn't. And they always had spot devices on, like their shoulders, so you could track them. All the runners you could track. And so you kind of knew like where everyone was for the most part, but especially at Bigfoot, I went almost 72 hours with no cell reception at Bigfoot because that is in the middle of nowhere. Tahoe was a lot better. There was a lot more cell reception there. And then Moab was kind of like in between. There was some places where it was like 5 bars and other places where you just had nothing at the place where you were sleeping, and then you'd walk across the road and you had perfect reception. Moab was weird like that. It was actually really, really stressful because one of the final aid stations that Rob was going to come into, it wasn't one of the. It was a place I was sleeping, but anyway. So I had to sleep in this one place, and he was going to make it to this aid station, and I knew that he was going to be based off of the miles per hour. That's kind of like how you looked at this. Like they gave you a pace, but like you knew more like, okay, he's going 3 miles an hour, or he's going 4 miles, or 3.8 or something. Like you could figure it out. I mean, over the course of 200 miles, it averages out pretty well. And you don't really stray from it after about 50 miles or so. Like most of the runners pretty closely stuck to their average that they were going. But there was one that was really, really stressful because it was like one of the last aid stations. I knew I had to get it, but I also had to sleep. And the place I had to sleep that was anywhere near where he was going to be, it was like that parking lot had no cell reception. But you could drive a quarter of a mile and all of a sudden pick up 5 bars. So that was just there was a lot of stressful nights like that. A lot of stressful times. What's up? We got Dave Dillon, Chase the Summit in the house. A7S3. Yeah, I heard you might be using that one soon. Maybe towards the end of September or something. If you guys don't know, Chase the Summit, go to his YouTube channel. He's about to hit 10,000 subscribers. So go subscribe and get him over that 10,000 tonight. Yeah, and then Eric says a little less money. Yep. That's what happens when you buy cameras, is you have a lot less money. Yeah, and then Marisol, I wear Hoka's Speedgoat 3, 4 for trails, but I want to try the Ultra Olympus. Just ordered them, Ryan. Any suggestions for transitioning? Yeah, I kind of already, I hit another question before yours, but same answer. So you just ordered the Olympus, so great. When you get them, just go for a short 3, 4, 5 mile run, like whatever's a short run for you, and just feel what it feels like. Just don't get worried. Your calves are probably going to be sore for the first couple runs, but then go back to your old shoes and do a couple runs in those shoes, and then go back to the ultras, and then go back and forth until you don't really notice as much of a difference anymore and you're not getting sore anymore. Then that's the time where you can just transition fully to ultras. There's a weird feeling that you feel, I forgot about this last time I answered this question, but you feel like a lot more leg fatigue and tiredness, and you feel like you're going slower, but that only lasts for like the first run or two. So don't worry. And then Mike says, I agree with your assessment on the Plush 4. I had to take the factory insoles out, too snug on the top of the foot. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's actually, I wonder, maybe I should suggest that to one of my buddies that texted me about that, because he said that the top of his foot was really tight too. So maybe I'll suggest that he takes those insoles out. Evening. What's up, Ultra Dad? Just ran my first 10K in the Olympus 4. Felt good, really light, more nimble than the 3s. Yeah. Maybe not as cushioned, but still feel great. Interesting. It's actually, as far as I know, it's the same sole for the most part, except for the they took out a little extra, like around the side of the back. So maybe that's what you're feeling. But yeah, really nimble. I agree with that. Yeah, and hopefully you and I can link up sometime soon, and go run as well. And then Eric says, are Olympus Ultra's most padded trail shoe? Yes, they're actually their most padded shoe in general. 33 millimeters, I think, is the stack height on those, in the front and the back. So you're getting the most cushion that Ultra has, and I mean, it's competing with like Hoka's, and now pretty much everybody does it. But you're getting the most cushion, and sometimes more cushion is better. Sometimes it's not. But for a lot of people, really, really like the Olympus, and I do too. I wear them for all my hundreds. And Mike says, have you ran in the Lone Peak RSM shoe? No, I have not. I've ran in all the Lone Peaks all the way back to maybe the second version. But I've never ran in the RSM. And don't quote me on this, but I believe that's going away. Maybe. I don't know if they're continuing that in 2020 and beyond. The RSM stood for rain, snow, mud, I think. And it was pretty much a waterproof shoe. Had like a coating on the outside that I think it did a pretty good job from what I heard people say. But no, I never got into it. I never felt a huge need to have a waterproof shoe. Even though I run a lot of trails and get my feet wet a lot, to me, that's part of it. I could see maybe if you were doing like a lot of hiking or something, and you're going to be on like a PCT or something, maybe that would be nice. Oh yeah, and there we go. Maybe too soon, but any more thoughts on the Clayton 100 this fall? Yeah. So that's something else that I wanted to talk about. Definitely want to do some sort of a 100-miler this year, and it seems like in one of my other videos a couple days ago, I said that almost everything that I knew of had been canceled, and then right away, like, a bunch of people listed a bunch of races that hadn't been canceled yet, which some of them I didn't even know about. But Kettle 100 just got canceled like 2 days ago. But I guess Mohican is still on Halloween. So that would be really, really cool to do the Mohican 100 on Halloween. But also crazy and maybe scary. But the Clayton 100, maybe that's a good name for it. I'm also looking at just doing a self-supported 100-miler somewhere on trails, maybe mix it up, trails and road. Thought about maybe trying to find like a 10-mile loop from my house and just do 10 loops and have a really nice aid station, bathroom and everything that I knew was always open and had plenty of food, plenty to drink. So that's an option. I really don't want to do 100 miles on a road, but if it comes to it, I'll attempt it. I've also thought about like going out to some of the trails. Most of the trails that I run on that are close by, like within a half hour to 45 minutes of my house, they're just small trail systems. Like the longest loop I could do would be like maybe 7 miles. And that's at a state park. And I know they have camping there and everything. So I know I could like park out there and probably be fine running the trails at night. Not doing anything illegal. But a couple of the other places are trails that I know close at night. Thought about going down to maybe Brown County or something. But that also, I would probably have to have like some people with me helping out maybe. Because some of those, like if I go somewhere where I don't know the trails, like I'll either have to have some sort of like maps on my phone or other people helping out or something. So that'd be fun. I've also thought about going up to Chain of Lakes State Park, which is where the Indiana Trail 100 is. And just doing 5 loops up there, mimicking that race. That would be pretty awesome, because that one just got canceled too. Yeah, like everything is getting canceled. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If, things start getting better, I'll probably try and jump in Mohican. That would be pretty sweet. Grindstone is another one, just got canceled. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe do my own. Let's see here. Evolving for Strength says, thanks for answering my question on transitioning to Olympus 4 in the comments from another video. Hokas were NG, maybe not good. What does that mean? For trails, fingers crossed, Olympus workout on my first trail 50 mile in October. Awesome. That'll be fun. I love October is like probably my favorite month to run. Well, I don't know. It's some of my best race memories are from races I've ran in October. So I'll say that October, at least here in the U.S. and the Midwest, is just an absolutely beautiful time to run. Really like perfect weather a lot of times, and then just the trees changing colors. Oh man, that's awesome. I did Grindstone in October. I've done a bunch of like trail marathons. I've done a couple like 50 milers. Did Run Rabbit Run. That was in September, but that was also absolutely beautiful because I don't know if they do this on purpose, but the race is on a weekend where it's pretty much that week that all of the leaves start turning from green to yellow. So you come through these areas that are just, I don't know what type of tree it is, but it's like, that typical like Colorado, like white bark and then yellow leaves. And oh my gosh, it's just like some of the most beautiful running I've ever done was during that race. Yeah. Marcel says, will you run Moab or any other 200 miler? I don't know. If I did any of those 3 that I was at, Bigfoot has always been like the one that like kind of tempted me the most before I went out to these. But if I did a 200 miler, like I would probably want to have like a really good crew around me, because I just saw what a massive difference that made for Rob, but also any of the other runners that were there. And Bigfoot is just an absolute like nightmare for your crew. They're going to be driving almost as much time as you spend running, because the roads out there, you can hardly call them roads. They're pretty much just like some of the aid stations you had to drive through woods that like the road, it was not much wider than just a normal trail that you run down, and you're going through and the bushes and trees are scraping the sides of your car for like a mile to get to this aid station. And I don't know, I got lost a couple times out there, and not terribly lost, but just like where the heck am I? Like there's no roads here. Like it says to go this way, but that's just woods. But yeah, luckily I had a Jeep every time, so it's great. So anyway, Bigfoot's the one that like, it's just like absolutely beautiful. Like those mountains, it's the most vertical gain, which is, like appealing, from a, like, doing hard things standpoint. Tahoe was awesome. Tahoe is probably the best for if you're planning on bringing a big crew, because they can have a whole lot of fun at Tahoe while you're running. It's easy to get around for the most part. Out of the 200 miles, there's probably like maybe, or out of the 20 aid stations, there's probably like 2 that are hard to get to at Tahoe, 2 or 3 maybe. And so they could even like skip those. And Tahoe's great. Like lots of like accommodations and fun things to do while you're out there. Moab was probably the one that I would want to run myself after being out there at all of them, because you see so much variation in the landscape. Like you start and it's just red rock everywhere, and you go through what feels like deserts. There's long road sections that just break you down. There's lots of climbing as well, but then you get into other places. It's just like once you get into the La Salles, it's just like it reminded me a lot of Colorado Rocky Mountains, that sort of thing. So it's like the variation at Moab, the going from desert to kind of like mountain environments, was just incredible. It was an amazing course. The area of Moab is absolutely beautiful. But it's an extra 40 miles too. So it's the Moab 240. And it's also in October. So the nights got so cold. I felt so bad for the runners, honestly, because during the day, it was, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was hot. Like you're like t-shirt and shorts weather, and you're sweating while you're running, and you're trying to stay hydrated, and it's hot, and the sun's beating you down. And then within hours, the sun starts to go down, and all of a sudden now you're getting into where it's like, hey, you're in a dangerous situation if you don't have pants and a coat and a hat and gloves. And it got so cold. Like I was sleeping in my Jeep first or second night, I don't remember what it was, but I actually woke up and all the toes on both of my feet were numb. And it was just like sleeping in the Jeep. I was in a sleeping bag, wearing socks, wearing pants, like I was wearing clothes in a sleeping bag. But it wasn't like one of those 0-degree sleeping bags. I think it was rated for like 28 degrees or something. But I had to wake up, start the car, and then put my feet on one of the vents and just let the car run for a half hour to get feeling back in my toes. And I wasn't ever like scared or anything during that, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like these runners, like if one of them like takes a nap on the trail and falls asleep for an hour, like he's gonna be in a bad situation when he wakes up. Because if he or she wakes up on the side of a trail with numb feet, like you gotta just start running to warm up. So that was just a really weird, not weird, but it was so hot and so cold. But the location, the course, Moab was probably my favorite out of all of them. John, my buddy John Truelove. Trust me, don't do 100 miles on the road. Note taken. So John but a couple months ago, did his own self-supported 100-miler on roads. And major kudos to you, John. I'll take your advice. I'll try and plan something on trails. Drew says, your 7-year-old fan in my house wants to know, how many miles did you run with Rob during your Triple Crown? By the way, the shoe reviews are killing my wallet. He's insisting on a pair of Olympus. Ouch. Yeah. How many miles did I run with Rob? Probably like each race, like just a handful. Like maybe like 10 at the most. And most of those, no, maybe more than that, maybe like 20 per race. Because typically what I would do is walk out. I would park at the aid station or close to and hike into the aid station. That's the other thing with a lot of these races, like Bigfoot especially. Sometimes you had to park a mile or two away from the aid station and hike in. So I would get to the aid station, kind of try and figure out where and when he was going to be there, and then I would take my gear and like hike up the trail. I would try to go at least a mile each time, and then I would run in with him, be at the aid station, and then I would try and run out about maybe a half mile to a mile as well, just to try and get a little bit of footage in and out. And I didn't run like, I thought about, maybe I should like take a GoPro and run like a section with him or something. But again, like I was doing this whole thing solo. Like I didn't have a crew of my own. Like I didn't have a film crew. It was just me. So if I ran a section, like I'd have to get someone to drive me back to the last aid station, grab the Jeep and all the camera gear and everything. And by that point, you're talking probably like hours, and I might miss him at the next one. So that was a plan I thought about doing a few times, but just never did. And it worked out. His GoPro footage, and then when he had Pacers, that was great too, because a lot of them filmed with the GoPro. And then, sorry about killing your wallet with these shoe reviews. Jacob says, Hennepin might not be a bad option either. Yeah, one of my athletes that I coached did Hennepin last year. Liked it a lot, so that might be a good option too. Let's see here. Ultra Dad says, Mohican does sound cool. Probably will get canceled. Yeah, I hope not, because that is an awesome race. Ewan, super chat. Thanks, Ewan. Says, I don't know if you've done an update and missed it, but how's the massage gun working for you? Are they worth the price? Yeah, I still use it. I still use it a lot. It's around here, down on the shelf. But yeah, I use it a lot. Like if I'm feeling something kind of weird right before a run, like I'll just pull it out and just kind of like maybe massage out, like if it's my calf or if it's my quad or something like that, I'll just work it out a little bit with the massage gun. And then, but what I use it the most for is like at nights, like just recently, now that I'm finished the Triple Crown series, I've had more time to like watch TV and movies and stuff. So just kind of sitting around, from watching a movie or something, I'll just pull it out and just work on my calves or bottom of my feet is nice. Just kind of anything. I do like IT band stuff, like try to loosen that up. But massage guns, I think the one I have, it's a Sonic Pro massage gun. I don't know. I didn't pay for it, but I think they're around $150. It's something that it just really depends on how much, kind of like what your financial situation is, because $150 could go towards a nice pair of shoes. But if, shoes, it's not an issue. Like if you're, doing okay, it's definitely an extra thing that you don't need, but in the long run, probably something that can help with recovery quite a bit. So I don't know. I mean, we all spend money on stuff we don't need probably. So yeah, it's probably a good buy. $150. It'll last you a while. I mean, the battery like never dies on it. I've charged it. I charge it maybe like once a month or something, and I use it a couple times a week. So it's a good one. Jacob, Wabash Heritage Trail 100. That would be that would probably break me mentally. That's I've ran that trail so much, and it's not my favorite trail that we have. It is a good one, but it's so sandy in a lot of parts. Yeah, that would be tough mentally. That would be really, really tough. Aspen, that's the name of the tree. Thanks, Ultra Dad. And then Morgan says, advice on maintaining a run streak. Legs are starting to feel like they need a day off. okay, this is a good topic, because I am still on my run streak that I started the day after Christmas. I've ran at least 3 miles a day. Anything under 3 miles, I don't know if I would count that. But I've ran every day since the day after Christmas, so it's probably like, I don't know how many days in a row that is. Someone tell me. Yeah, you go through these really hard times, and then you go through really easy times. And what I've found is that the hard times only last a couple days. The first couple weeks, like if you're not used to running every day, just be super, super nice to yourself, and just run short. Like if you're not feeling it, just do a easy 3 miler, and just don't worry about it, and just pack it in, go home, and get back out there the next day. If you're feeling like an injury and you know it's an injury, like also don't push it, because a run streak is not that important. I mean, it's really, really cool. Now, if you're up to like 1,000 days, I don't know, maybe just go for it. Keep going. But if you're on like day 10 or 12 and you're feeling like, oh, maybe this is like some sort of injury or something, or maybe I'm overdoing it, then just take a day off and start the day after, and just don't worry about it. Like, just be nice to yourself is the biggest thing. And for me, I went through like after maybe the first 2 weeks or so, I started to be overly tired every run, and it just felt like every run was so much work. But then that lasted for maybe 4 or 5 days, and then all of a sudden I felt amazing. And went a couple weeks, and then got into another slump where it's just like every run was just like a grind, and it was so hard. And so in those times, just understand that, and just, do short, just go slow, like just don't push it. And so that's kind of like how my training has evolved over the last couple months. I've done, like when I'm just honestly just taking what the body's giving me. And when I'm feeling good, I go longer, or I go harder. I do like some zone 3 work. When I'm not feeling good, I keep it short, keep it simple, zone 2. And I just try not to push it. But I also, one thing I've learned is that there's a big difference in feeling an injury and just feeling sorry for yourself. And that's something that I've really tried to understand more about myself. A lot of days I just don't want to get out there, and I'm just, I'm convinced that something's wrong. But I'm just feeling sorry for myself, and I'm just being a baby. And so I just go out there. Like today, I did 5 miles today, and the first 2 miles, it was so hot and humid. I was getting dizzy, and I was almost, about ready to just turn around and like walk it back in, but I just kept going. And the last like 2.5, 3 miles of that run were amazing. And I felt like all of a sudden, like there was like new energy in my legs, like halfway through the run. So I think there's just, you go through some easy days where running feels effortless, and you go through some days that it just feels incredibly hard, and you feel like you're not even a runner. But that's my experience with it. So I would say if you want to do some sort of like run streak or something, just be nice to yourself in those first couple weeks. And if you need a day off, take a day off and just start over. Once you get up to, like you're a couple months into it, then maybe you start learning more about yourself and understanding what is you just feeling sorry for yourself, and what is you actually needing a break. But that's totally something that either you or your coach would have to decide. That's not something that you should take my advice on. But yeah, that's what I would say. I would say go for it if you want to try a run streak. But Morgan, I don't know what day you're on, but your legs are starting to feel like they need a day off. Mine did too. Mine do all the time. Mine did today. But just do it, get it done, keep going. Eric the Red say, I just want to say great job on the Triple Crown series. Really enjoyed them. Thank you so much, man. It means a lot. Like, honestly, like, I know there's probably a lot of people out there that didn't like it. They're just not saying anything. But everyone that is saying that they like it, that is really, really cool. It makes me feel good. So thank you very much. Jacob says, it's rough with my job, but I feel so much better after I get out and do it. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, some jobs, it's just really, really hard to get out and run, either before or after, especially if you have a really physical job. Ewan says, how's your knee injury going? Do you still keep up with the physio stretches every day, or has it healed to the point where you don't need it anymore? Good question. So that question is about my knee. I had last year at the first half of the year or so, I had really bad IT band syndrome. And it was like, I don't know. It kept me from running a lot. And it was really, really painful. But I just decided to, kind of like suck up my pride and go get help. And I went to a physical therapist. Well, I went to a doctor first, because where I live, you have to get a doctor recommendation, or it's not like it's not a prescription. It's just like you have to have some sort of like release or something from a doctor to actually take physical therapy. So I went to a doctor first. He was like, yep, IT band syndrome. And then I started doing physical therapy and did a lot of physical therapy. I went 3 times a week for probably 8 weeks or so. Maybe it was less than that. Maybe it went 8 weeks, 4 or 6 weeks. I don't know, something like that. But the place I went was just absolutely amazing. My physical therapist was amazing. And she put me on these stretches. She put me on some exercises. We did some strength stuff. And a lot of it had to do with my hip. And so I learned a lot about injuries. I learned a lot about rehab. And within a couple weeks, I was running again, pretty much pain-free. It was really good. So the knee is totally fine now. Zero issues anymore with that. I do like a specific dynamic warm-up that takes maybe 2 minutes before every run. It's very, very easy to do. Get it done real quick. And then I do my run, and then after my run, like usually not right after, but sometime later in the day, I do just a real quick stretch. I have a calf stretch board, and I have this thing called a wobble board, and you can you can stretch out your calves and all sorts of stuff around your ankles, which helps to keep that flexible. And then because your leg is a chain from the heel or your toe all the way up to probably like your shoulder or your neck, but specific points is like down your heel, your knee, your hip, and just staying flexible, staying limber, doing exercises, keeping your strength up, especially in your hips, is what will keep IT band syndrome away. So yeah, I don't go to physical therapy anymore. Where I live, in the U.S., and specifically in Indiana, you have to have, it has to be doctor ordered. Like, you can't just walk into a physical therapy clinic and get treatment. You have to be there because a doctor told you to go. And then once you're done, they kick you out. So luckily, I haven't had to go back. But yeah, I don't need to go back anymore. I can't remember. Last year, I had a lot of physical therapy last year. Demel Gray says, have you encountered any bears and or cougars or any animals like that in your trail running career? And if so, how'd you handle it? No, I have not encountered anything face to face like that. When I did Run Rabbit Run, we were very, very close to a cougar and didn't know it at the time. It was in the middle of the night, and I don't know, I think this story is funny now, but at the time we didn't really think it was funny. It was in the middle of the night, about 50 miles into the race. You come back into the town of Steamboat Springs, and the last couple miles you're running down kind of like these logging roads, like to get into the town. And we were running, I was running with another guy, sorry guys, I don't know if you can hear my watch. It's driving me crazy, but I'm going to turn it off. You know those text conversations that just keep going and going and going? Now it's off. So yeah, we're coming into Steamboat Springs down this logging road, and I was running with another guy, and we heard like maybe 30 or 40 feet away from us. It was so close that it was like right next to us. We heard what sounded like a woman screaming, just like a couple quick screams, like real quick, and it freaked us out. And we were like, is that another runner? Is that somebody is there a vacation home over there or something? Is somebody in trouble? And so we started walking, and we just kept listening and didn't hear anything. We shouted out, everyone okay? I didn't hear anything back. And we're like, that's really, really weird. But it was just like real quick, like 2 real quick screams. And then about another minute later, it happened again. And whatever it was next to us again, like it was going with us, tracking us in the woods. And we're like, this is messed up. But again, it was the middle of the night. There was 2 of us, and we both heard it, so we knew it was real. But didn't know what was going on. Thought it was another person. We thought maybe there was a house over there or another trail or something, and someone was just messing with us. We got into the aid station at the 50-mile mark, and we started talking to one of the guys that was working at the aid station, and he was like, guys, that was a mountain lion. And we're like, what? He goes, yeah, that's what they sound like. That's what they can sound like. And he's like, you guys are lucky. And the scary thing was to continue on with the race, you had to go back up that road to get back on the trail section. So we both sat at the aid station for maybe like 15 or 20 minutes contemplating life. But never heard it or saw it again after that. So that was what I believe is the closest I've ever come to encountering a mountain lion. Never seen a bear out in the wild. Plenty of other animals that are not dangerous. Saw a fox on my run a couple days ago. It just came out of nowhere and was just standing on the trail, just like staring in the opposite direction of me. It was really weird. And then I yelled out at it, and it ran away. It was like 30 feet away. It was super weird. That's never happened to me before. Stephanie Lynn says, I'm signed up for Run Rabbit Run this fall. It will be my second 100. I love fall, so hoping the scenery helps me get through. Enjoyed your video of Run Rabbit Run. That's awesome, Stephanie. I actually didn't know that race was still on. I thought they had canceled it. So that's cool. Maybe they just closed registration. Maybe that's what I saw. Run Rabbit Run is an absolutely amazing race. I know there was some, like they've gone through some PR stuff recently, but the race is amazing. It is such a great race. So I hope you enjoy it, Stephanie. Drew says, we are waiting to watch episode 6 tomorrow as a family. It was awesome. Yes to physical therapy for IT band issues. Saved me many years ago. Yes, nice. Hope you like episode 6, Drew. It was one of the more fun ones I had putting together, because it was kind of like the close of the whole story, the end of the journey. Got to see a little bit more about Celia. Not much. Like I tried not to overdo it because she's so young, and I just didn't want to put a ton of stuff in there about her. But it was very very emotional getting to take part in something like that for her, and just for cancer research in general. Matthew Atherton says, "Hey Ryan, we love your videos. Question: have you ever done the Purdue Half Marathon? If so, what are your thoughts about it?" I've never officially run it. I've ran the course many times. It's a lot of those roads are some of my daily running roads. So Purdue Half Marathon is awesome. One of my good friends got like second overall. Like maybe he won it. I can't remember. Like 2 or 3 years ago. It's a good race. It goes through a lot of cool parts of town. Like you're running down the middle of the road that you don't usually get to do. So it's a good race, especially if you live close. You can't beat it. And then you finish at the football stadium. That's pretty sweet. And then Jacob. Oh, awesome. Thanks for jumping in there and responding. Yeah, first half is good. Some good downhill. Second half can be rough as you come back on campus. I did PR on that course and the weather was perfect. Nice. Awesome. Stefan says, finished up watching the Triple Crown series. I ran Bigfoot and saw myself in the film at a couple of aid stations. Didn't realize at the time, but that it was such a production. Nice. Brought back good memories. Thanks. That's cool. I hope you had some flattering shots. But yeah, I think a lot of people, like even like Candace, didn't realize what we were doing. No, that's not the right thing. She knew what we were doing. She just didn't realize how big of a production it was going to be. Like, I think she thought it was just going to be like a small YouTube video or something. And then, in discussions with her afterwards, so I think that was a surprise for probably a lot of people. So that's cool. Okay, Joel just says, okay, I just Googled mountain lion screaming, and that scream was horrifying. Yeah, that's cool. I need to look that up in here and actually go down memory lane with that. That would be fun. So everyone needs to Google mountain lion screaming after this. And then Patrick Soto says, love your work, man. New rerunner, LOL. Awesome. Guys, thanks so much. Like, it's so cool to see, that, like just something that I can do or something that we can do can encourage and inspire others. It's just so awesome. So thanks so much for everyone that comments and, lets me know that. Like, that's just really, really cool. I do all this because it's fun. But then, the ability to like inspire, and when I hear stories of what people have done and, things like that, like starting to run again, and just getting even a little bit of encouragement, maybe just to go for a run, when you're not feeling it, it feels really good. So thank you guys. But yeah, I was watching actually, the other day, I just like, every once in a while, like YouTube recommends my own videos to me, while I'm watching other videos on YouTube. And it like automatically played, and it started playing the video from the Kettle 100, that I attempted last year, and finished the 100K, but then, didn't continue, that was a really tough day. Last year I had some major learning opportunities with nutrition. I'll just leave it at that. It was the approach I was taking was not working for me. And I had a couple really bad races in a row, and started to figure stuff out at that point. And now I feel like I'm in a really good place with nutrition. Although I haven't done 100 this year. So it's still, I might find out that I still don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, last year I had some really big issues with nutrition. But anyway, YouTube recommended that I watch my own video, and then it automatically played it, Kettle 100. And it was just like, it was really, really weird, like watching a race, and just like, I don't know, I just really missed it. And it just felt really crazy, not being able to do that this year, and thinking like, even if a race was open, like, going back and looking at how close everyone is at aid stations and packed up on the trail and just standing at the start line and everything. It's just like that sort of stuff looks so weird now. But yeah, I really miss it. And hope we can get back to that soon. I mean, it's looking like it won't be at least till next year. So hopefully things get figured out and we can get back to that, because that is, for those of you that haven't attempted like 100-miler, there is just something, like when you're standing on that start line, it is just the most like electrifying feeling. And you can feel that in a lot of races, but when you're going for something as daunting as a 100-miler, or I mean even a 50-miler, like if that's where you're at, like when you're standing on that start line thinking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And then you look around and everyone is feeling that. Even the most experienced people are like, they know that they have just an absolute sufferfest in front of them, and they're willingly taking that first step across the line. It is an incredible feeling. And I really, really hope that we can get back to that soon. And doing it with a couple hundred other people just makes it so much more fun. So yeah, I really want to see where my fitness is and test myself this year, and hopefully pull off some sort of like solo 100 or something like that. But when you're doing a race with a whole lot of other people, it's on another level. So yeah. Jacob says, definitely let me know when you want to run. I'll be hitting Heritage Trail, some other trails early Saturday for sure. Nice. And then definitely shooting for 100. There you go, Jacob. Gotta do it. I mean, you're eventually, it's a requirement, right? So gotta keep going. But yeah, do a 50. I never did 100K. I did by accident one time, because I didn't finish a 100-miler, but, do a 50-miler, then do 100. But yeah, there's something special about that 100-mile distance. Patrick says, watch the triple motivated. Thanks, family. Thanks you also. That's awesome. That's so cool. That's just like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just so, just like humbling, and so, just like, I don't know. Like, I just can't believe that, so many people, and especially kids, like that's the one thing that that kind of surprised me, that a lot of kids are watching this. And I'm just like, wow, like that is really like impactful to me. And so I just like, thank you guys for letting me know, because, yeah, it's just really, really cool when other people get to see your work and, like it or are inspired by it. It's a really, really, really cool feeling. So we've been going for over an hour now, so that's where I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you everyone for joining. This was a great time. Really, really fun. I'm excited to get back into doing these. Hopefully try and do like, I don't know, like maybe one a week or something. Tuesday nights is usually a good night for the family, so we'll see. Maybe we will do that. But yeah, I've got more time on my hands now that this Triple Crown series is over, so that's why there's been a bunch more YouTube videos, so I'll be keeping that up, doing more live stuff, and yeah, thanks for joining. I will see you guys again soon. Bye. That didn't work. Okay, bye.